Everyone lives, everyone dies. Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world we're all alike. So why is there war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright, isn't it time for the start time? Isn't it time now to stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. With one hurt, with one need, we gotta learn to live together. Peace in peace, in peace. Alright. One loves, everyone cries. Round the world we're all alike. So why is there war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright, isn't it time for the start time? Isn't it time now to stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. With one hurts, with one needs, we gotta learn to live together. Peace in peace, in peace. Alright, make peace, peace together. Peace. Thank you guys for joining me on the Shadow Chasing Show. Yes, I'm here and on time, I hope. So, yeah, guys, I'm here. What can I say? I'm just getting myself more in trouble all the time.
I was about to get started, and then I was sent an email from YouTube. I got a strike against me again. They're telling me that I was doing wrong stuff, like as in giving people advice regarding the HEALTH. They told me that I cannot talk about it. I cannot even use the words regarding any that kind of work for people, because not because you have to be a practitioner. It's because they don't want you to, you know what, to get better. So they gave me a strike and told me that we're taking your video away. You can't use it anymore. Or you can't see it anymore. Nobody else is allowed to see it. So here's what I would say, folks. If you can't find the video, that any videos that I've been doing here on YouTube, don't worry about it. It's on Rumble. Okay. So I'm gonna bring it up to you guys. If you want to find out anything that I actually talk about regarding alternative HEALING, this is crazy. They want me to. I have to spell stuff out now, because if you talk about any of this sort of thing on YouTube, not on Facebook, but YouTube, they will strike you. And they basically, what they'll do is they mute you first. They actually have algorithms online, and they're robots, by the way. And if they don't have certain words that are spoken, certain words that are used, and if they can analyze it or do the analysis on it, whatever have you, they'll strike it. They automatically don't listen to you and say, hey, this is what I've been talking about. They're still thinking you're prescribing. So whether you're a doctor or not a doctor, they're not allowed to talk about it. And it will relate to what we've been dealing with the last 4 or 5 years. Okay. And yeah, so I've been trying to help people out. And so what I tell people this, if you guys ever want to know anything regarding your HEALTH, just text me, email me, but don't even ask me. I try to reply to you. I can reply to you that way, but if I'm doing YouTube live, which I'm on YouTube as well as on Facebook chat room. We're back and forth here, folks. So I'm in 2 chat rooms right now at the same time. So where I'm talking to you guys here as well as on YouTube. So you can jump in back and forth in both chat rooms if you wish to. It's a lot of fun to do. So it's a lot of fun to do, and you get to find out what I'm doing. And I like to update you folks what's going on across the land, across the world. It's really nice to learn about what's going on and who's doing it, right? It's not the idea of like people are saying, oh, well, we have Hurricane Helene and now we have the Hurricane Milton. We got so many hurricanes. And then what really gets me, FEMA is telling people that according to their records, no more than 250 people had perished in the storm, all the way from Florida, all the way through North Carolina, Mississippi, those areas. Only 250 people died. Those people got clobbered so bad. There's so many towns gone. I'm talking about houses by the thousands. People gone. Okay? Buried under mud, stone, sticks, bush, under their cars, in their vehicles. And then floods came down there, and people rolled down in floods. I'm telling you, they are finding bodies galore, but it's not FEMA that's finding them. It's the people who live in the towns and the cities who are finding them themselves. FEMA is telling those people that they're not allowed to find their relatives. They're not allowed to find their parents. They're not allowed to find their children. Are not allowed to find. Why? And FEMA also said, if you try to rescue any of your family, we will arrest you and you go to prison for life. I tell people this. Who in the hell is FEMA? They're not a government police. They're just to be there to supposedly help rescue people and to bring in supplies for the people. That's what they're supposed to do. They're not. What they're doing, they are stealing the supplies. They are stealing the water. They're stealing anything, blankets, you name it, anything that comforts the people. They're stealing. and they're taking it back. There were actually 4 truckloads, as in semi-truckloads, of supplies being sent out to the people. These are truckers, and other truckers organizations have been sending out food, supplies, you name it, out to help the people in their regions that are actually had suffered and lost their lives, the families, that sort of thing. And there's no food, there's no water, no nothing, like nothing clean. So they're driving out. Okay. This is a true story, folks. They're driving out there. All of a sudden, out comes these guys, like 10, 15, 20 guys out of the bush wearing FEMA vests. And they stopped the semis, and they took knives and stabbed all the tires so the vehicles won't go any further. They basically said to them first, go back or you're going to be arrested. The trucker said, no, I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep on going. These people need the supplies. So what they do, they took knives or whatever, and they stabbed all the freaking tires, and the truckers couldn't go anywhere. I'm not kidding you guys. This is what they're doing. Now, whether it's really FEMA or not, but these people are wearing the disguise to represent FEMA. Now, FEMA is not really who you think they are. They're really not nice people. Okay, they're not really helping people out. They are, and I have friends who live in North Carolina, Mississippi, in those areas, and they've all lost. Some of them actually lost their homes. Some people are actually out there trying to rescue other people in their district, in their area. And they're volunteering. There's people out there right now as we speak, while this show is running. There are people still out there right now to this day, to this minute, rescuing people and bringing them supplies, volunteering their own monies, any supplies that they have, they can get together available and do it. Now, everybody kept saying, well, don't bother calling 911. Don't call bothering the police, nor the fire department, nor anybody else, because they're not going to come. Number one, folks, when you are given confidence to know that you are given 911 or whatever numbers you use for rescue or to help people if there's a fire, flood, or you name it, they come in and they're supposed to come there to help you. Why is the station shut down? 911 is not even answering your calls in the States. Wherever the hurricane was, they're not answering the calls. It's all a recording. Nobody's being rescued. And our commander-in-chief did say certain things are going to happen, cleaning up the swamp, and it'd be a devastation, and you're not going to like it, but it's going to happen. He's warning you. He is not telling you he's doing it. He's warning you because he was given heads up on it to try to save what you've got. Money is what you have. You name it. Blankets, covers, water, plenty of it. They're talking about all that. They mentioned everything. And this is what happened. Okay? People, whether they believed it, disbelieved it, but the fact is their commander-in-chief even said, tie down everything. I didn't realize some of these people actually had to get really smart when they witnessed and hearing stories of houses being floating down the rivers, like up off the ground and floating down the river. Then other people in other towns said, hey, I'm going to get some straps, big, huge straps that you use to tie down large cargo on a truck, semis. These guys are getting giant straps, big, huge straps, 10, 12, 14, 20 straps on, and they throw them over the roof of their house. They're strapping down their house to the ground with long 3, 4, 5 foot spikes. And they're strapping their houses down because of Hurricane Helene as well as Hurricane Milton. Now, they were preparing for Hurricane Milton because they thought, okay, here we go again, one more time. If it's going to happen again, even worse. Some parts it did again. Now, I got friends I got a lot of groups that I go into. One particular group I go into, which is big shout out to Mountain Mama. Okay, boots on the ground. This is on Telegram, folks. If you want to find out all the true news, you go to Telegram. If you don't have Telegram, download the app. You go to the page called Boots on the Ground. Boots on the Ground. and you look for Mountain Mama, okay, she is one of the major people who actually says she owns this group, but she's also the admin, and she lives out in North Carolina. She was one of the people that got hit pretty hard too in her area, and she lost a lot of her friends, people that she's known for years. Their houses got flooded or their houses got washed away. I'm not kidding you, folks. And people lost their lives. So the beginning of this program, like I said before, all these mainstream media TV shows or news columns are saying only 250 people died in Hurricane Helene. Folks, I think you better times it by 10 or times it by 20 or times it even more, because that's how many lives how many people lost their lives. They're looking at least well over 100,000 people that lost their lives. This is typical Japan. The same thing all over again. Let me tell you something about Japan. Many years ago, I don't say that many years ago, I would say, what year was that? And my friend Ron Bard was alive. He was a famous psychic friend of mine in New York. And Ron wanted me to come up to Japan with him and to do readings for corporate businesses, partner up with him and do reading for corporate businesses because he's very well known in Japan. And we're supposed to happen in March. And I said, okay, fine, sure, it's a great idea. I've never been to Japan before. I'll go with you, yeah. And he was going to pay me very, very well to go. Now, I had my passport, everything all ready to go. We're ready to go. But a week before the travel, I had 3 nights straight repeat dreams of fire, water, explosions, people drowning. It was huge. And I kept seeing it all the time through my dreams, 3 nights straight. And I realized after this is a warning to me, don't go to Japan. And also tell Ron, don't go to Japan because something devastating is going to happen. Okay. I told him my dream. I said, I can't go and you shouldn't go. If I'm getting these visions, it's telling me something's going on. What happened was Ron decided he was going to go, but he took his daughter with him. Now, but first of all, he said to me, is anything going to happen to me? And I said, well, not really, but you need to be up high in a hotel. Like I'm talking about the top floor if necessary, but you need to be there. But you're not going to get home on time. If it ever happens, you're not going to be home on time because him and I were supposed to be there no more than 2 weeks. Ron went in March. Okay. And they had a tsunami 3 days later in Japan. And I was supposed to be there. They had a tsunami, very similar to Hurricane Helene. This is a tsunami. There was a plant that exploded. There was a tsunami came through at the same time. And many hundreds of people, thousands of people died, drowned, perished. Now, Japan said over 100,000 people had died in this tsunami in Japan. A lady friend of mine who is her husband actually has a magazine here in Vancouver. She's from Japan and he's from here, and they got married. And she told me that in Japan, where she had lived, there was over 1.5 million people that had perished in the tsunami in Japan. It wasn't 100,000, but what they had done was they did not want to be shamed in public. And they didn't want for it to be worse than what it is, or to make it sound worse than what it is. So they decided to say, oh, well, we'll just say 100,000 people perished. No, it was over 1.5 million people that had perished in the tsunami in Japan. It was the worst thing ever happened. It was really horrible. Now, but the worst part of it is when the plants exploded, okay? So the generator plants exploded and it released radiation horribly in the north end of the island. Many people died, but yet some of the radiation got into the vegetables, the farmlands. And if you ate any of the food there, drank any of the water there, you got radiation over amounts of it in your gut and you will not do well. Well, and they're telling people, if anybody's trying to bring any kind of food or water from the north of Japan, do not even consume it They tried to bring it in and quietly not say anything. Ron was safe, but he didn't realize that he actually either ate or drank the water that was from the north side of the island, and he was fully engulfed in or consumed in heavy amounts of radiation poisoning. And when he got home, he was very, very ill. And through I would say within months, he passed. Now, it was a decision of his own, but the thing is that he never got home for at least a month. It wasn't 2 weeks. They wouldn't let nobody leave Japan for at least a month because the runways in Japan got destroyed. They had to rebuild the runways for the planes to leave. So I'm pointing out this, folks. You know, why did Japan have this tsunami? I'm thinking HARRP. Everything is cloud seeded, folks. Nothing like this was supposed to have happened, but it did for a reason. We don't know why. I think they wanted to depopulate the world, and that's what they started to create. Then it happened again with Hurricane Helene. I suspiciously feel this is actually not God's way of doing it. This is actually man-made. Then that happened again with Milton. So why all the wiping out of people? Who actually is responsible to create all this to basically wipe out a population? Well, remember, folks, guys, Bill Gates said that he wanted to take out another 7 more billion people if he could after the first 2 billion through the big COV time. Okay. So this way here, their plan was to try and use possibly weather. Thing is, people are telling me too, they're asking me the same question. They're saying, well, is it going to happen anywhere else? You know, if it's happening in the Florida regions and all the way down to North Carolina, Mississippi, and all those areas, is it going to happen in Canada? Well, if there's something important that they want to do, and if they decide to use it, they're going to do it. Now, my prediction, I don't think it'll touch Canada much. They're going to try not the hurricane part, because we never get hurricanes here, but they're going to try earthquakes. We've already had 3 earthquake tremors where I'm living here. We've never had that many before, ever. And the first earthquake tremor started on Vancouver Island. So now on Vancouver, we've got the same issue, or Vancouver Island. So it's possible, and it actually tremored across under the waters and hit the area where I live. And we had the biggest earth tremors, about 4.5, almost a 5, here in the Surrey area, which is much larger than Vancouver. And I felt the tremor because it was like, about 2 a.m, and I was doing my work, and I felt this, my house was shaking. It went woo, woo, like this way. And I thought maybe, because sometimes you think of a large plane flying over you. No, it shook, right? So I'm bringing this up because I want you guys to know what really is going on, what has gone on in the States. You need to know this is actually, whether you're American or Canadian, you need to know what's happening. This is controlled weather. This is purposely made. We have lost a lot of people since these 2 hurricanes have begun. Okay. This was the big one. Our big one was the biggest one that actually happened in the States. I don't think it's going to happen ever again. We're pretty well finished in that one there. We're into October now. We're almost done October, going to November. We haven't got very far, folks, because November the 5th is going to be a very, very good, not a bad, very good, important day. Okay. Very important to all of us, every one of us. Remember the 5th of November. If you guys remember the line in the spoken word, you'll understand why. Now, in the story itself, there actually were women and men all kinds of people on TikTok talking about seeing people's bodies floating down rivers, all the way from whether it's North Carolina, it's Mississippi, you name it. A bunch of people, whether it's children, whether it's adults, but they're floating down the rivers. Okay, some were found caught up in bushes and in clusters of trees. Yesterday they found a man buried, mudslide. It covered his whole body from his chest, from upper chest down. All there you could see was his head. And they were going to rescue him. They were going to pull him out from under the mud. And the guy said in his own words, these were his own words. He said, I already know that my family are dead. I don't want to be rescued. I want to die here. And they said, why? How do you know your family's dead? He said, because they're under me. So when the mudslide came down, he was above them. When the mudslide came in, they're all grasping together. Everybody held on to each other's hand while the mud came down, and he was the last. He was the last of his family. All his children and his wife were below him under the mud. And that's horrible. Absolutely horrible. I'm telling you straight up, folks, this is not a game. This is your mainstream media. Don't want you to know the stories. They don't want you to see the real stuff. This is a true story. I saw the video. I saw the woman ask the man who's under the mud. This is not a theater. This is not pretend. This is not fake. This is the real stuff. But your mainstream media won't talk about it. They're told not to. Okay. Your mainstream media is not told by our commander-in-chief not to say anything. It's controlled by another group of people. Don't say nothing. Oh no, just only 250 people. Don't worry about it. Let it go. Really? So I want to let you guys know, please understand one thing. I'd love to be inspirational and trying to be, helpful with people a lot, but I want you to know the truth. You need to know what's really going on. And this is not a game. I'm not playing around. This is for real. This is stuff that's been going on for the longest time. I've seen so many videos. My heart breaks for them. And I was praying, I don't know how many times I've been praying to God, help them through, whether they're gone or not, help bring peace to the family. Those have lost their loved ones because they need to be comforted. And there are parents that lost their lives, and the children are really the only ones that are alive, or the children are gone, the parents are the only one alive. We don't know. There's a whole variety of people. I've seen videos, photographs of towns that have been there, pioneered for over 150, 200 years. It's wiped out, gone. Before and after pictures, gone, washed away. They made its own man-made river and washed away. I watched it, and it was like horrible. And one thing I've learned in my work, I've been doing this for over 40 years, and one thing Spirit taught me was, Derek, you have to learn to become an observer and try not to get so immersed in it. That doesn't mean you're heartless. You have to become an observer so you can tell the story. It hurts. I don't think it's right for anyone to suffer by any means, no matter how devastating it is. But there is God's control and there's man's control. Mankind has become so vicious and so cruel that it's worse. It's genocide in itself, but it's worse than pretty well, maybe it could be the same, just like the same thing as what happened in Auschwitz. So similar, but in a different way. The torturing of it. This is what they're doing. their plan, the dark forces, the bad people are trying so hard to trying to see if they can get away with it, to see how many people they can take out, destruct, and that we can't survive. And this the thing is that our commander in chief said, as often as you can, you're on your own, but stand up and support each other, help each other's neighbor out, make sure that they're safe, make sure they're okay, take care of them. Don't worry what anybody who's a government worker, and if they're saying they're going to come out there or not come out there, don't depend on them. Start taking care of yourself like a pioneer. You remember you guys years and years ago when the people that were pioneering come into a small area and they decide to pioneer a town or a village in the beginning, say, we're going to pioneer here, we're going to make this into a population. And they bring in a wagon train of people. Okay, wagon trains. Could be 20 wagon trains. We're going to start our own town right here. That's exactly what we'll end up doing again. There's going to be people pioneering all over again to rebuild a town. But they're going to actually have a small museum. We're going to tell the people, here's what happened. And for as many photographs that they could find, pictures that during even videos, whatever is able to be found, availability to share with the public across the world, here's what happened. Florida got hit hard. And I got friends that live in Florida. I got friends that live in California. I got friends all over. They're telling me stuff. And Derek, you won't believe this. And can't believe, like, that's crazy. And some were shaken out of their houses. Some of them actually were floating down their vehicles. And some of the vehicles actually were waterproof, leak proof, that they're just floating down the river and just sat behind the wheel and let it float, hoping that no tree falls on the vehicle. And then some vehicles leak like hell. But the ones that didn't leak, and I'm going to tell you guys this, the ones that did not leak were the gas-powered vehicles. The gas-powered vehicles were the most stabilized ones. They can actually travel all across the land. Anything that's electric didn't last because it ended up shutting down. There was not, the water ruined it. It corroded it so quickly that it had no power. Couldn't go anywhere. Your EV cars can't do crap. Didn't do nothing for you. But a gas-powered vehicle with no electricity in it, just straight original vehicle, it went everywhere. And this person survived. These people were surviving through these vehicles because they're power tough. They're strong. Now, another story in California. Okay, this is California. There's a couple of people actually sharing stories. 30-mile long lineup of gas for gasoline. Now, I remember back in 1972 or 74 in California, they were lining up to get fuel. There was a fuel shortage back in 72, 74, and there was a gas shortage again around 86, 87 in California. People lined up and down the street because there was a gas shortage. And who created the gas shortage? It's not the fuel stations that create gas shortages. It's the people that control the fuel supply. And anytime there's actually a control of fuel supply, that's when there is a war on somewhere. And they'll say, oh, well, there's a war on somewhere in another country somewhere, so you're not going to get the gas. We're supplying it to them, so you're going to have to do without. And I go like, wait a minute here. This fuel belongs to the United States. Or this fuel belongs to Canada. Why are you taking it away from us, our own fuel, and sending it somewhere else? Why are you sending all of our guns to a foreign country, say the Ukraine or some other country, and you're supplying it to them to keep on fighting amongst each other? Our Canadian soldiers are not fighting. Our American soldiers are not fighting, but they're actually told that the presidents or the prime ministers, they'll keep on saying, here, ship all these supplies of weapons and guns and bullets and bombs and send to these countries so they can keep a war going or to create a war. And our ex-prime minister, Harper, okay, he actually was one of the first prime ministers that said, we're going to go to war. We're going to go kill some people. Those are his words. I listened to him. I heard his voice. He said, we're going to go to war and go kill some people. And then Trudeau said the same thing. This is before the real one was taken away. He wanted to go to war, and he was going to work with side by side with the Chinese Communist Party. And they were going to work side by side together, just him and them. Oh, you can settle here. Yeah, build your factory here. We'll put in a military base here for you. Oh, by the way, we'll take out our police here, the police force. We'll remove the RCMP. We'll remove the city police, and you guys can create your own Chinese police force, and you can actually do whatever you want. And that was his goal. That's what he was doing. He was allowing dictatorship to come into our country until the real one was taken out. And then the fake one here doesn't say much. He's a goofball. But the things are going to be exposed. There's so many things being exposed right now as we speak. Because this is what the real Trudeau was doing. He was hiding stuff. He got exposed. So it's going to get better. It's going to get crazier. I got some stories for you guys. I'm going to blow you away. India is so pissed with Trudeau. They are so pissed with him. Yeah, no, not Trudeau. Yeah, wait, gets better yet, and there's more. Oh my God, they're actually in India. They're talking about Trudeau every day on the hour. Trudeau screwed them so bad, but also in their country, Trudeau is known as the biggest drug dealer in India. Did you know that? Trudeau is the biggest drug deal supplier in India. About, let's say maybe 6 or so months ago, maybe less, he actually flew to India to meet up with the president. Now, what you guys don't know, maybe if we're not so informed, but Mr. Trudeau flew his private plane to, or made fuel by our fuel, by the way, our tax-paying fuel, and flew to India. Now he's supposed to have a meetup with the president or prime minister or whoever leader of India. Little did they realize the India does not trust Trudeau, and he had the military outside waiting for him, and they went inside of his plane. Now the plane wasn't small; it's big, just like a similar size to our president's plane, right? Now, the thing is that when he got off the plane, he was higher than a kite. And they did a drug test on him, and he actually had traces. They actually found us on the table, on, I guess, a mirror on this table where he was sitting having his wine. There was cocaine. And it's in India just said this now. And there was cocaine on the mirror, and they found tracks and traces of it, and they saw on Trudeau's nose that he had cocaine when he got off the plane. Right out of it. He was right bloody out of it. So what happened was they decided to go further inside the plane. So Trudeau's already outside the plane. He's actually in a room. They placed him into a room. Okay, now almost like a lockdown. He wasn't even allowed to even speak to anybody. They had him in a room by himself. So the Indian police, I think it was military, went into the plane, and they found, I'm not kidding you guys, they found a large 4x4 pallet of cocaine bricks, about 3.5 feet, 4 feet tall. Bricks of cocaine. He was supplying it because he being prime minister, you swore that he can be arrested for trafficking and importing illegal drug. But because he's a prime minister, he doesn't have to get charged, or so they say. But you may not know, when they found out that what he had in there, he never finished having his meeting. They told him to go home, but he was not allowed to come back to India. He was barred from India. And I thought to myself, no, you're barred. They did seize the cocaine, but they destroyed it, for as I understand it. But it wasn't, I don't think it was with him they didn't say much about the cocaine being returned back. But anyways, They did say one thing was that he was never allowed to come back to India, and he's no longer respected by India. Like basically, the Indian people in India don't want nothing to do with him, and so he's was barred from India for life. Same as Jagmeet Singh. Now, Jagmeet Singh, who is an NDP leader of our country, was also part of Air India bombing. Now, he himself was with the groups of people. He was also responsible for. Apparently, he was connected to the 250 people that got killed in the Air India bombing back in those years, which actually flew from Canada to India, not from India to Canada, but Canada to India. And then he got away with it because apparently when he came to Canada, because he had escaped, came to Canada and he was pardoned by guess who? Harper. Harper pardoned him to be an NDP leader. When he got pardoned, that means he can do whatever he wants and get away with shit whenever he wants. So he thinks, here's the crazy part, folks. Anybody who actually breaks laws and works as for the government shouldn't be in government. They should be behind bars. Should be behind bars. But anyways, so he got caught. Now, how I know about this, because they also mentioned about Jagmeet Singh. I'm watching, it's called Gravitas, called Seeing is Believing. This is actually Indian news. And they're actually speaking English. They're assimilating, they're associating everything to Trudeau as well as Jagmeet Singh, because they also mentioned Jagmeet Singh is not welcome in India. He's actually been barred from his own country. Okay. So as of today, there was corruption. There was actually, I should say, there was some whistleblowing, and there were an NDP whistleblower that exposed Trudeau. There was and he's Asian, by the way. I'm not going to say Chinese or Japanese, but he was a whistleblower to go after Trudeau, because Trudeau actually did some very nasty, bad stuff. And also, the Trudeau was trying to say that that Pierre Poilievre was involved, and this Trudeau is trying to deny the fact that he's ever been part of this. But Trudeau actually is part of this. Trudeau is actually on that file. His name's on it. But there's a whole bunch of Liberal Party people that are in the party that with Trudeau that are on that list. There's actually 12 people's names are on that list for corruption. And this is actually the federal corruption, folks. This is really bad. This is going to go, this can easily make itself into a military arrest. Not even federal. It can become a military arrest. Because once you are a leader of a country, it goes under military tribunal. This is not even federal anymore. It goes under military tribunal. So under the military tribunal, 13848 and 13818, you're going to be going by one-way trip with this wonderful looking silver jewelry, and you're gone. So we're that close to watching the PM, our crime minister, to take a little trip, one-way trip, but you have to see what's going on. So yeah, you're right. Exactly right, Albert. They're all involved together. We are under military, under maritime law, corporation bylaws. That's right. You're exactly right. So the thing is that we're picking people out now. All the exposure is coming to the surface. Even for Canada, we're all coming out to the surface, and we're just leading, and they have to feed you a little bit to see the truth. If you saw the whole thing all at once, you would be totally devastated all at once. You'd be like, no way, I can't believe he's my hero. No, he's not your hero. Okay. Trudeau, or crime minister, he actually has his own little favorite, had a little island he used to go hide out into in Ontario, and they would have their little ORGYs. And I'm not kidding you. There's some really crazy stuff happening, and that's why his ex-wife left him. Let's see. Layla says $400 million scandal from the Green/Fund. Exactly. This is what it is. Part of it is, there's so much in it, that Green/Fund. They're trying Poilievre is here's what I always get kick out of, folks. These guys, if you're actually not watching politics, I'm watching Pierre Poilievre, and he's so relaxed. Okay, if he was cornered by any means, Poilievre was relaxed. You can't corner the guy because he knows he's prepared to step up and tell you the truth. He's there to tell you exactly what's going on. He's trying his darndest to show you what is going on. He wants you to see the truth, but he's so patient and quiet. Like this man is like, da 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 da. All right. So, yes, Trudeau he was taken out already, but the public, Albert, has to see the story in itself to complete the whole thing. Like basically, this is step by step by step. We're still going to have our military tribunal on television. It's going to happen. So, Kathy says, "Hi, Derek. I heard today that Oregon voted to take Trump off the ballot per their senator." Well, whether they think they can, they can't. It's just a setup. Okay, because if the senator is there, the senator could be downside. So they're going to try to play the game. I mean, look at here. I'll give you guys an example. Here in BC, we have David Eby is our premier of BC, but he's NDP premier. He wants to sue the Conservative Party that we're having our election right now as we speak for the 19th, which is I think our election is tomorrow. The elective day is our voting day is tomorrow. No, sorry, not tomorrow, on Monday. Is it Monday, Saturday? Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think it's Saturday. Voting day is on Saturday, I think, 19, October 19th. So basically, this is a provincial election. So basically, you got your NDP, conservative, you got your independent, you got different kinds of people that are place themselves into the programs, into basically the whole story. Anyways, what I'm trying to bring up is this. There's three of them. There's two stories to this. Anyway, David Eby, he wants to make sure that he stays as the NDP premier of BC. He doesn't want to lose his position because he's NDP. He decided to sue the Conservative Party. He's going to sue the Conservative Party. That means he's going to try to delay the election, or to basically get people believing that there's corruption in the Conservative Party. That's what David Eby is doing right now. You see, the Conservative Party wants to bring back the real stuff that needs to be seen that's been delayed by the NDP. And because what NDP is doing, it's so corrupted. We've had so many people do some major damage from the NDP. You guys don't realize how bad it is here. So David Eby he's the first premier who actually he wants to sue this. He said, if the Conservative Party ever tries to get in, or they try to get in, that David Eby personally himself is going to sue them. Duh. Like, sue them for what? Well, you're misleading the public, and I'm going to go after you for this, this, and this. The only time you sue somebody is if you're accusing David Eby of something that was wrong. But everything that David Eby has done is wrong. So everybody's in the right. Keith says RCMP and OPP were at his office. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Oh, the RCMP and OPP were at the office. What, you talking about Trudeau? Let's put it this way. Trudeau right now is under investigation as we speak, under special unit investigation right now for corruption. They're going after him right now for 4 incidences, which are the SNC-Lavalin, the children's organization, which Trudeau handed over $750 million to the WHO. To the We organization, and that's for the kids. But it wasn't for the kids. It was actually his mom ran the organization. He was giving the money to his mom. She's on the board. So, and that's our tax-paying dollars. So he was handing it over there. Now let's see. Tina says, "Is there any point to vote since it's all planned?" It's not all planned, Tina. I'm not saying the voting is not planned. They want the public to vote. You see, it used to be that years ago that here's how I tell people this. What I learned from people that are working under the guise of the Freemasons were the ones that controlled all of the elections. In fact, they would say, okay, we're going to have Justin be the prime minister this year. So no matter how many times you think you don't like the kid, wherever he's too young, where he was considered the youngest prime minister to be elected, but we'll just get him in and we'll make him look good. Okay, so basically it was the Freemasons that did it, the organizations. Then now, and everybody began to realize that all these years of all the people that you thought you were voting for, and you thought, oh, that person didn't get what I wanted because how did he get in? Then they start messing with the ballots. Okay, the ballots have always been corruptly played with, and it's because the balloting is the same as what Trump went through. It was corruptly went through, and he lost his balloting in the second round, and it was based out of our own country in Canada. Now there are photographs of Trudeau in the office, in that very same voting office, as well as oh my God, there's a whole bunch of people in there that are well known. So the Dominion machines, Dominion organization, the voting machines are Dominion. So basically, that's the same company, the same organization company that was going up against, or basically that was supposed to be the same thing with Trump. They knew then there was corruption, and even Trudeau said, like I got a photograph of him holding the card in the same office of Dominion. Like, what the hell is he doing in there? Like, here I am. See, I can do this. I can do, and they were actually using dead people from grave sites to do all that and to get away with it. So they can't do that anymore, because basically it's why people are now going in person. They're not doing this online. They're doing it in person to do either pre-voting, whatever you have you. But our commander-in-chief said this year, if anybody's going to vote for anyone, you're going to be voting for people legally, and nobody's going to be controlling the votes. Nobody's going to control any ministers. There's not even the Freemasons or anybody who thinks they're the dark hats, black hats, thinking they're going to be telling people, I know who's going to win next. We already know what's going to happen next. Yeah, that wasn't an orb. I get spirits coming through here that running back and forth. It gets busier after I start talking about spirits. They start going back across the wall. But anyways, as I'm saying, it gets to be crazy. And now everybody's asking, was that an orb? Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. Sometimes it gets so crazy. I've had people where large ones go by this big, just right through the room. Anyways, as I'm going further with this, I don't be distracted. So Trudeau, he won't be able to mess with the Dominion. And George Soros was also at the Dominion place. Same with Chrystia Freeland. She was there too. And she sat down with George Soros in the Dominion office. And what were they two both doing there? I mean, what was he doing there? He's American. Why was he there in the Dominion office? Because he was there. He wanted to see how it works. Now, why would you want to see how it works? Okay, because he actually was an influencer. This guy is a financial backer and he was a billionaire, plus, and he's actually supplied monies for everybody. Soros actually was one of the original leaders that started, helped create Antifa. He helped create Black Lives Matter. He helped create a lot of negative organizations, really bad ones, especially Antifa. And there was actually a well-known NDP leader, female leader in Alberta, who now is not here, or she's the blonde one. I can't remember her name all of a sudden. But she also was actually chosen to be the leader of the Antifa after she was forced to step down from the NDP because she was under investigation. Go figure that one, right? So we had corrupt people. Same with our Alberta premier at one time. So we've had so many. Even Ford himself was all corrupt in Ontario. Like he was a bad guy at first, and all of a sudden I became a good guy. Gee, how many premiers and how many premiers of our provinces have been replaced? But they don't look the same. They have been replaced. They don't, and even our let's put it this way, our health ministers, or even our let's say call them alternative, what would you call themselves? They call themselves health administrators, like Bonnie Henry. She was the head of administry here in now Christy Clark had nothing to do with it. She didn't know shit. She was only a DJ. She was a DJ. She went from being a disc jockey to a politician. She was out of it half of this bloody time. She worked at a radio station. She worked at 1410 CFUN, another radio station. And no, I'm talking about no, I'm talking about the Alberta Premier, female blonde. She's so blonde. How blonde is she? Dirty blonde. I can't remember her name. I'll have to look up her name again. I'll know exactly what to think of who she is. But anyways, I got myself all mixed up. There's so many things to talk about because this is why we've had troubles in our country. Rachel Notley. Yes, that's who it is. Thank you. Rachel Notley is actually the head of the Antifa. She's the leader of Antifa. She actually was up in Red Deer. There was actually they were doing an event in Red Deer, and a lot of people that are down there at the time were standing up for their rights of freedom. This is when the Big C was happening. It was just finishing off that time, and they're trying to get people still keep on wearing masks the whole 9 yards, and people said, no, we're going to stand up for our rights. And I seen the video. Actually, there was somebody actually secretly did a video of Rachel Notley in the nighttime at a campfire at the Antifa camp just outside of Red Deer. She was up in, I think it was either near Carstairs. I think it was out there, Carstairs or Airdrie, one of the towns. And she was there just outside of town, and they're at nighttime, like maybe 50, 60 Antifa kids. And she told them they had to have cardboard signs, and to not use regular sticks, but to use hockey sticks. So broken hockey sticks if they have them, because she wanted them to go in there and create violence, because basically they were supposed to start a war, and violence was supposed to hit people. Something changed, because when the people were protesting in Red Deer, standing up for their rights, and then the Antifa showed up, and Rachel Notley was there, but she stood aside and watched. But she was recorded, and she was giving them advice what to carry, what not to do. So she's the leader. And how would she know where their camp was? Because their camp was supposed to be secret. So she stood there on the sideline watching. Nobody paid attention to her. They're all in there. So these kids are all dressed up, wearing their bandanas or masks or face masks, whatever, and they're just shaking their hands. And Antifa, and they're trying to cause trouble, like majorly yell at your face, and then trying to scare the real protesters. Didn't happen. Couldn't do it. The farmers wouldn't tolerate it, and the farmers told them, "You go any further with this, you guys are going to get hurt, seriously hurt." And they were not going to kidding around, because there was more people, there were more protesters than there was Antifa kids. So that video did happen. Now, how come that video didn't get around? It did. But what happened was, at the time when we had some of the videos up on YouTube, they were all taken down. YouTube took down a whole pile of Antifa protests, farmers fighting for their rights, people standing for their rights. YouTube took a whole bunch they took down about, I think someone said, around almost 2 million videos that had anything to do with the Big C and Antifa and people standing up for their rights, including the protests, the truckers, everything. They reviewed everything, whatever was in favor of the CBC and CCTV and all them, they kept it up there. Anything not in favor of them, they took them down. So making sure that you did not see the truth. That's why I tell people this: if you're going to watch something, if you see it on a video now, if you're able to keep the video, keep it. Don't throw it, shove it aside. It's okay, I saw that. No, keep it as a file. Put it in your computer. You need to do that, because once in a while, when someone's going to bring up something for history, and it could be a year from now, it could be 2 years from now, then you're going to say, oh, I remember seeing this video, so and so and so, and someone's going to say to you, prove it that it never happened. And I got the proof right here. It showed that it happened. Well, prove it. Okay. You got the video to share. Pop it in, whether it's 2, 3, 4 years old. You got it saved up to be used for later evidence to prove, because so many people now today have lost their evidence that were participants in some of these protests, that were defending the people for the rights and freedoms. So I'm trying to point this out to you guys. You need to know this. It's absolutely important. It's absolutely necessary. So, so like I said before, we're bringing back Trudeau, for example. Like I said, this guy's in big caca. Now they're going after him right now for corruption. They're going after him, like they're going to nail him against the wall. 4 of his constituents, Liberal constituents actually left. They walked out on him as of today. They stepped down. They're going, no, we're not part of you, Trudeau. We're out. So there's Liberals actually leaving. There's people don't want to stay with him because they know he's lying. He's gone. It's got so corrupt, and they know it. He said, no, I'll take care of it. It's gone so bad, absolutely so bad, that the Liberals don't want to stay together with each other. So it's going to get thinned out so quickly that you're not going to have a Liberal Party in existence. It will be gone. And then someone says, well, what if they remove Trudeau and have somebody else pretend to be the leader, the next leader? No, you guys destroyed it. You went along with Trudeau's bullshit. You're all responsible. You all need to be taken out or removed from your position. They need to start over again with no one and start from the very beginning. Because if you already knew what Trudeau is doing illegally, and that is considered as corruption, that is considered as extortion. We're not extortion. It's considered, well, even extortion too, but it's considered as the worst thing in the world. Okay. So, okay. The OPP, RCMP were at his office there, and they were moving vans at the office. Yes, I know. They're pulling out all of the case files, anything that relates to him. They're going in there. Yes, I told you guys they're going to go in. I knew it. No one believed me. For the longest time, the RCMP are coming in. No, he's no. The RCMP had stated, they made a statement. Here's what the RCMP had to do. And I'm going to tell you guys this, that you guys may not know this. The RCMP had to do their own internal investigating of their own people first. They had to find out who's corrupt and who's not. They had to clean up their own offices first before they go any further. They went in and they took some of their own people out that were so bad, I mean, horrible, that they had to take them away. Like basically they're gone too. They had to clean up their act. So anybody who was actually ever part of any type of racist, abusive, physical abuse, to the point of even worse, they're gone. They took them out. They're finished. They had to clean up their toilet first before they had to clean up his. Now that's been done. It's been taken care of. But also the military special unit is helping the RCMP to help the cleanup. So those guys are gone. Okay. The next step is now they're going after all the case files in his office. They're pulling out everything and anything and everything. They're going after him for the WE. They're going after him with the SNC-Lavalin. He's going after him over the Chinese. There's actually a major corruption between he was actually having some secret Chinese deals as prime minister with China. Okay. I'm not talking about Chinese trade. I'm talking about Chinese military negotiating on his own. He was making money off of them. Okay. So that's why I'm saying to you guys, how is it that our prime minister had every right to take your rights away from you and tell you that you can't do nothing or say nothing about for yourself? Okay. So the thing is that Oh, by the way, hang on to that thought, Layla, because I'm going to tell you something about that. Yes, that's part of it too. The RCMP van got blocked by pro-Palestinian protests. RCMP van backed up and drove off. I'll tell you what happened there. That was day before yesterday. The pro-Palestinian, they're gone. And I tell you, the leader, that was the two people that were running that pro-Palestinian group, are now in jail for hate speech as well for corruption. And they were also, all the money that they were raising from the public, us, or I'm not saying me, but people that are pro-Palestinian followers, any money that was received by that group, they sent the money to Palestine to carry on for the war. So they got busted. They're in jail right now. The RCMP came in and arrested them. So they're in jail right now as we speak. They're right in front of Trudeau's office. I know. Like I said, and guess what, guys? Today is a 17 day. 17. That's the Christ number Q. Got it? That's today. So boom, boom. This is all happening as we speak. This is all happening. This is all supposed to happen. We're in the 17 now. This is the day of the 17. So he's all right now. The guy's being cornered. They're going to shrink him down to nothing. And I'm sitting there going like, yes. I'm sure you guys are going, yes. So, there's an old famous saying, they say you lose some to win some. And yeah, some of them actually were, some of the politicians were arrested at their homes. Some of the politicians, even the states, were arrested on location in Parliament or in government, in their Parliament. Parliament's Canada, in Congress. A lot of Congress people were also walked out in handcuffs. Oh yeah, Keith, you won't get hurt. You won't get touched. You go to Ontario, will I make it back there? And yes, you make it back. You're tough as nail, my friend. You're the toughest guy I know. My God. Take that bus and ram it down their rear end. Take your bus and kick their butt, bud. So yeah, nothing's out in the open. It's it's gonna there. Okay, I'm gonna play you guys this video. I gotta play it. This is all to do with India. They're gonna tell you something here about Trudeau. So if you haven't seen it yet, I'm gonna share it with you now. Give me 1 second. Set this up. Okay, so I'm gonna take the screen, and you guys can see it from here, from that one. I'm gonna turn this one around. Here we go. Now watch this. That was in June 2023. Boom, boom. commercial. So anyways, what I want to do, um, go another way here. So now you guys know what he's been doing. And what Trudeau is doing right now, he thinks he's safer since he has left. Here, I'll turn this one off for a second. He thinks he's safer since he left left India, that he wouldn't be touched now. Like they'll go, okay, well, now that if I'm out of India, I can say what I say, get out and get away with shit, whatever you want. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to get away with it. And he's going to drop the bomb, try and bomb bombs in India. And India knows that he won't get away with it. So he's making up stuff. He's making up shit that has no bearing whatsoever in the whole story. None whatsoever. It's getting worse and crazier all the time. So, I noticed my camera's moved. Someone move my camera. Okay, it moves over this way. Clamp. Swing it over. Hang on. I can't get up and grab it, so I'm just going to move over a bit. There we go. Oh, I could see me. Cool. This thing is great to have, guys. You can grab things and move things around if you're unable to move quickly. I got my thing on my lap. That's why I wasn't getting up, moving the camera. But anyways, like I said before, that cocaine incident, he thinks he's clear of all things, but he's not. It's going to get worse yet. I'll find next week. I'll try and see if I can find the video of that cocaine incident, and you get to see the video of it too. And you'll see how he got himself in trouble. Oh yeah, what he was trying to do, first of all, he was trying to get Indian votes. That was his thing. And then he screwed himself because, see, first of all, he thought he was getting Indian votes if he had Jagmeet Singh on his side, but Jagmeet Singh's in deep shit too. He's under investigation. So there's more stuff going on, guys. You won't believe the major crap that's going on. It's gotten crazier and crazier all the time. People may not realize it, but it's worse. It's worse. Anyways. Okay. Now, enough of Trudeau, our crime minister, or crying minister. Okay. Greg Fergus is the Speaker of the House. He's in trouble too because he's been favoring the Liberal Party too often and helping and not supporting the Conservative Party. Because anytime that Pierre Poilievre was trying to say something or just even asking a question, the Greg Fergus, the Speaker of the House, actually would interrupt him and tell him that he can't say that, and tell him to retract it, can't say it, or not allowed to say the words. And then he would actually turn around and kick Poilievre out of Parliament for the day. So you can tell because Trudeau was actually smiling, his big smile across his face. Like Fergus is still, people may not realize the Speaker of the House, Craig Fergus, he's the guy that's the dark-skinned fellow. He actually was a Liberal Party minister. He was actually of the Liberal Party. He was one of very close friends of Trudeau. And Trudeau told him, now, like I thought, I was asking people, like, how did Greg Fergus, what made him decide to become one of the Speakers of the House? Greg Fergus did not really come up with the idea, well, I'm going to become a Speaker of the House. No, what happened was Trudeau encouraged him to become a Speaker of the House. And I knew what Trudeau was doing. Trudeau was trying to get him in favor to do it so he can actually in favor his side and basically to scramble with the Conservatives. So what happened was once you start noticing the BS, what they were doing or what he was doing, that Greg Fergus was favoring Trudeau too often or the Liberals on the other side, that people would start seeing the truth and see that, in fact, Greg Fergus was the only Speaker of the House that kept on muting the Conservatives all the time. Like he would turn off the sound in Parliament. I've never ever in ever in my life watched Parliament ever get their volume turned off so often since Trudeau has been in prime minister. Anybody else before him, they never had the volume turned off unless somebody was swearing or threatening someone. But it means there was very few times. But I think Greg Fergus, I think his favorite thing to do, he likes to push buttons. Like literally, he likes to push that button and mute. He doesn't want nobody to know what's going on in Parliament. So anything from the conservative side, anybody else, no big deal. It's always conservatives. Like he's making sure that Poilievre doesn't say anything. He'll even reach down and turn the volume down to the point that even Poilievre is still talking, and he'll turn it off. So that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. So I really strongly feel, this is my word, folks, you have to need to write to Parliament and say, look, get rid of Fergus because he's favoring Liberals too often, and he's also breaking the rules, which basically is parliamentary rules, which is wrong. It's not good. Okay, so they need to get rid of Greg Fergus. He's favoring because he's still a favor of Liberal Party. Second of all, we got like I said, our election is coming up, folks. I'm not asking you guys who to vote for. That is your decision. There are people who have been emailing me, say, Derek, you need to vote. You need to vote for this party. You need to vote for this party and this party. I'm not going to tell you guys who I'm voting for. I would like to say so. I've had people come to my door that are volunteers trying to find out if you're going to vote for the specific person and what favors that these guys can do. But we need to say one thing, and that is that you have the right to vote for who you ever want. That's the reason why they have scrutineers. They are scrutineers inside the voting booth. They're the ones that control your voting cards. They're the ones that get you to here. There's that little thing is covered that nobody gets to see who you vote for. So that's covered, so nobody else gets to see in. It's the same thing. I don't have to tell anybody who I voted for. Okay, I know who I voted for. My wife and I know who we voted for. And there was a couple of really good people in that I would have voted. And I will tell you this, not NDP. Okay. But anybody else, there are some good people in there that I would have voted for too. So there's there's only one, they're only looking for one party right now. It's not just a specific breakdown of who and what. So, and also now they're talking about bringing in 16-year-olds to vote. They want 16-year-old kids to vote in Canada. And then Trudeau said one time, well, why not bring them up to why not get 12-year-olds to come in and vote? 12-year-old children. Are you kidding me? Because my son could be a voter. I'll get my son he can vote. No, they're not adults. They haven't taken responsibility. They have no idea what's going on in government. Give me a break, guys. You're telling the kids what to do in school. So why are you going to say, well, you need to vote for so-and-so? Do you get it? No, not at all. Leave things as they are. You're actually, it used to be years ago when I was a kid, you had to be 21 to vote, not 18 or 19. You had to be 21. And some countries, I think some countries, they're happy 25 before you can vote. So they're specific. They really, they have rules. Okay. Now, break this down again. We've got, let's talk about the DEWs, direct energy weapons, or how come we're having so many fires? And why are they burning all of these places down? Why is Trudeau so involved burning places down? I brought him up one more time conversation. Fort McMurray and even Jasper National Park in Edmonton, outside of Edmonton. I've been to Jasper many, many times for years, traveled through there, stopped by there, got friends living there. Friend of mine lost his house there, lost his business there. He had a crystal rock shop there, beautiful place, and he got burned down. And the reason why, folks, it's not lightning in Jasper. There was no lightning that caused the fire. They're still coming up with that same stupid ass story in Jasper. Oh, well, everything's all tinder. It's so delicate and it's so dry there. No, it's not dry there. Actually, they had a lot of rain this past year in Jasper, and it's still, it's still tender. No, and they blame little black bear. A little black bear started the fire. He carried the stick in his mouth and started the fire. Little black bears can't even pick up sticks that had flames on them because they're scared of it. Guys, give me a break. And that was their excuse. That's what they used in the news. A little black bear did it. But Trudeau said a little black bear carried the fire. Right. Anyways, we already know it was a DEW. And the reason why they hit Jasper, because there's lithium under the ground. They discovered it. There was lithium in Saskatchewan on near one of the reservations up near Lac Saint Anne in that whole region. There's lithium there. And because why would Krista Freeland make a complete one? Why would she basically make a trip all the way down to Lac Saint Anne in Saskatchewan? Because there was like maybe 30, 40, 50 houses that burned, but she traveled all the way from Ontario to see the people and offered them money to buy all the territorial land. Why would she show up and try and get them to sign it over the land? Here, we'll take the land from you. Here's some money. No, you ain't gonna get it, folks. Open your eyes. Tell your friends. Anytime you get burned out of your house or off the land, if there's 20, 30 houses on fire, those were caused to be on fire for a reason, because there's lithium, which supplies your Tesla cars. That's why they're after lithium. They're running out of lithium in another part of the country, so now they're trying to see if they can supply lithium in Canada and start their own lithium factory here in Canada, as well as the United States. You guys get it now? That's what they're trying to do. So do not sell your land. Your land has more value than lithium. Why sell it because it got burnt down? Rebuild. You can. Why do you think you have house insurance? Right? That's why they're doing all this. It's been proven. There's lithium in many different places. In Paradise, California, there's lithium under the ground. Okay, a special group of people came in there. Oh, we want to set up we want to build a plant here. Blah 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 blah. They said no. Well, then they decided to burn the town down. Trump didn't know anything about this. He had no idea what it was about. He found out later. It was too late. But they found out later is lithium. Like, what the hell for? But in the meantime, all these people had to be compensated. They were compensated after, but Trump took care of it. He helped them out financially. But most people never know. People are not going to hear about it. The news is not going to tell you that. He helped them out, trying to help them out, get them financially stable so didn't lose any money. So there's always secret donations or secret Santas that have been helping people out. Yes, Kamala's husband has the shares in the lithium company in North Carolina, and he's the one that possibly could be responsible for the lithium burnouts. You guys get it now? Now I'm saying lithium burnouts. Okay, North Carolina. Hello, there's lithium in North Carolina. There's lithium in Mississippi. There's anytime you get a area that's flooded or fire, that's lithium there. That's what they want. They want you to run away, not to rebuild your town. They want to get rid of you, even if it costs your life. Think about it. This whole thing I've been talking about all night is about lithium control. Basically, they want to take the land from you. They're going to offer you money for it. You're gone. That means they could build lithium fields. They even try to do it with farmers who had in Ohio. The farmers were raising cattle, beautiful land, lots of cattle, and people that actually had crops there, green, like wonderful farming. Now the town council is giving them new rules. Tell them that they have to turn off their water. They're using too much water for the cattle. They're running off their own spring. But they're telling them that it's illegal to have too much water on their land, and they want them to turn their water off. Why? And the cow is only allowed to drink 1 pail of water a day? Are you nuts? Are you freaking nuts? They're coming to the point. Well, then they offered to buy the land from the farmers. Well, if you can't afford it, we're going to give you. What they're going to do? They're going to start fining them $5,000 per cow, whatever it was. And every cow had to be licensed, and whatever else. They're trying to add more shit on there. They want to scare the farmer off the land. They're trying to get rid of the farmers again. Take the land. Got lithium. There are certain areas that's got lithium. They are running short of lithium, so they can build their plants. You think Musk is the cool guy? Musk knows how he's making money. If he's got shareholders, they're going to make him money. He just builds the cars, and the supplier has to get the lithium. He's not out there trying to find lithium. Others are taking care of it. So Kamala's husband is probably one of the people that are contracting it. Watch carefully, folks. Watch really, really close. Listen to the people. Look under lithium. Who is actually the supplier of lithium? And you'll find at third world countries, there's children going into lithium mines. Children, 8, 9, 10 years old, and that's all they do is mine lithium. There's no education. The kids get paid cents, little amounts of money, or just food and room and board. That's it. And they have to basically they're child labor. You want to talk about child labor? Your child labor is in the lithium right now. Every one of you got Tesla cars. Your child labor driven. Your lithium batteries are the lithium themselves is actually dug by children. I'm not kidding you guys. This is not bullshit. I'm not pulling your leg. That's what you're driving. Electric cars that is mined by children. They get the kids to bring out the rocks. And you ever seen the videos? It's horrible. The kids come out black like coal miners, right? Just forced to. They have to do it all the time, 24/7. These kids, they don't have a home to go to. They sleep wherever they can lay their head and sleep, and they're back in there again working. I'm not kidding you. This is bullshit. So I'm trying to give you guys a bit of heads up. This is not something that I'm making up. I don't make up stories. I'm actually watch. These are hidden videos that people go undercover. I've seen those videos. Horrible. And you want a car, you want an electric car. Oh, it's cheaper. No, lithium is actually, I'll tell you one thing, you guys, if you don't know this, before you buy an electric car, do your freaking research on how do you get rid of the batteries. If a battery breaks down, how are you going to get rid of it? You can't. Once that battery is on fire, you can't put it out. The cops, the police, the fire department, and I actually talked to the fire chief. He said there's no chemical, nothing that can put out a fire on a battery, on a lithium battery. There's no chemical, nothing can be actually to starve it out. They would have to use a foam, a special kind of foam, which basically they have to order it to put on the battery to prevent the fire from going any further. But the foam is not here yet because it's not manufactured yet. And I said, well, how soon is the foam will be available? Oh, maybe 2025 or maybe 2030. So they're working on it, but they haven't really used it fully right now. Meantime, all these batteries are on fire. And they also said if you have an electric car and if your car's on fire and you're trying to put water on it, it increases the fire. It's like fire on water. So whatever it is in there, that makes it increase. Now, it could be the lithium. It could be increased the fire. So why are you using it? But there's going to be a new type of battery that will come out, but it won't be long. It'll be a long time from now before it does come out. But they're not going to use lithium. But they're using on something a lot safer. But right now, I would say don't even get an e-car. Stay away. Why do you think China has got 2.5 million cars in the field, brand new ones in the field, not running? Why do you think they got 2.5 million bikes and carts and those little things you see on the street, right, in the field? Motorcycles, e-motorcycles. Why they're in the field? Because of the lithium batteries. They keep exploding every time they drive them. They're on fire. And so China said, you know what? We're going to flog these out. We're going to give them to Canada. We're going to give them to the United States. Do you want them? And they're actually heading this direction. They're coming from China. And all these vehicles, all these e-vehicles were not made by the Chinese e-factories. They were made by the military. It was supplied with military money. So now you know. Military money. Crazy, huh? Absolutely crazy. So, okay, coming up. Snoop Dogg. That boy is alive. He's alive and kicking. Lives in Cuba. I talked about this last week or a week before, I should say. Now, I want to go for a little bit. I want to talk about something else real quick before I talk about Snoop Dogg. My very, very good friend of mine passed away last week. That's why I didn't do my radio show or my TV show because my friend Rick um, died in a fire. He died of smoke inhalation. It was an accidental fire. It was never meant to happen. There was a short in one of the heaters in his house, apparently, and crazy electric short, but whatever was too close to it, it burned. He lived in the back end of the house, but there was actually a built-off porch, and it was actually the fire started in his porch that was right next to the trailer itself. And it started a fire and then went right in directly into his bedroom, and smoke billowed into the bedroom itself. And basically it enveloped, all the smoke enveloped in his lungs. And that's why I saw the explosion of fire in my backyard. And I was very fortunate. I had my side window of my office, my workshop open. I heard explosion, boom, 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 and I thought, "Oh my God, someone's actually doing fireworks, or someone tried to break into my building, in my shop." So I ran out the front into the backyard, and I saw on my window of my door. I thought it was on fire. Like, I thought my building's on fire, and I go, "How the hell did the fire get started?" So I'm looking at my window, and I realized after it was a reflection. I looked to my right, and here's my friend's house was on fire. So I have two hoses running off my house, one in the backyard, one in the front yard. So I yelled at my wife because she was already in bed. This is way past midnight. Called her out, and I called her and I said, "Honey, get out here. The house is on fire. Rick's house is on fire." So she came out. She grabbed a hose, and I turned it on. She was trying to hose the back end or trying to keep it wet. And then I went to the front. And I had grabbed my hose, turned it on, and went to the front until keep it wet. And then I called the fire department until they arrived. They were so quick to get there, but it was for Rick. It wasn't on time, and they thought he was still breathing, partially breathing. They dragged him out. Took four firemen to carry him out outside onto the street here, and they worked on him for about an hour to get his lung capacity, and it just didn't happen. He passed away there, and yeah, I'm gonna miss him because he was a good friend. Known him for a long, long time. I'm the guy that actually talked him into moving here, like, because he wanted to get an apartment. He wanted to get a retirement place to move to. And then I said, "Well, buy yourself a modular house. It's right next door to me. It's all brand newly built, rebuilt." And I said, "Buy this one." So he bought it from the guy and moved here. And he was the best time of his life. And he loves gardening, and he actually had plants. He was growing plants. You name it. This guy had a green thumb. Like, he knew his stuff in Latin. I'm not kidding you. He was a smart man, but he was a retired school teacher. And in fact, our caretaker that takes care of the park, that was one of his students. And so she was quite shocked. She didn't even know he passed away because she was up front taking care of the control. But we had 18 police cars and 6 fire trucks that arrived here, 2 tanker trucks, because we didn't have a fire hose or a fire hydrant close enough to the building, so they had to create a very long fire hose to the fire hydrant to the upper part of the street, which was many feet. And so they had 2 tankers coming out of the tankers and putting out the fire while they're working on getting the hose down there. And by the time they had Rick out, and they had to keep on putting the fire out, and I took some heavy smoke myself, trying to keep it wet, and because my house is next door, and I was only no more than, I would say, from his house to my house, no more than 20 feet, 25 feet, and that could have skipped right over if I didn't wake up, if I didn't hear the boom boom. And we have, my house could have been on fire as well. It would have led right into our house. So I was very fortunate. And crazy part of it was 2 nights before that, I saw a shadow of a person stand in front of me on the side of my bed. Woke me up at 2:00 in the morning, and it stared at me. And this shadow looked like Rick. And I thought, well, maybe Rick's not doing well. Maybe his health is not good. So I told Rick, and I said, "Is there anything wrong with your health, man?" And he goes, "No, I'm fine." He said, "I just got a sore foot because I hurt it really bad." And I said, "Okay, well, just let take good care of yourself, your health." And that was it. But something was not right, because anytime I get a messenger of a shadow of a person at my end of my bed, someone's going to be leaving us quick, but somebody's close to me. So, and then I realized after, because the guy wore glasses, so that was Rick himself that passed away that night within 2 days. So, but I give my heads up warning, but I thought it was all to do with his health, but it's actually it was a fire. But I didn't catch the fire part. But for some reason, I had this feeling to keep my window open, and I did. I don't know why. I just had to keep it open, and I heard the boom, boom, like sound of exploding, and that's how I got to make contact with him. But it hurts because I felt responsible, thinking, okay, maybe what if I jumped in there and trying to drag him out myself? But I talked to the fire chief about it, and he says, Derek, it's a good thing you didn't go in there because he'd be pulling out two dead guys and two dead people. And I went, oh shit, yeah, I guess you're right. And he was right, because when the fire department, when the two firemen were actually trying to get into the front door, they kicked it in because this door is made of steel, like it's metal. When they kicked it in, they found that they got in, and the smoke was so heavy, like boom in your face, like, and they had the oxygen masks on, so you couldn't, you just couldn't miss it. So a good thing I didn't go in that way, or else I would have gotten nailed too. So, and Rick was a bit of a hoarder, so it was hard to get back to his back room. So I never would have known how to get back there because all the lights were off. But anyways, he left us, and I want to send love and prayers and to everybody out there that's actually whoever knew Rick. He was a man of the church, and he was actually he was one of my chair people. He would chairpersons, like whenever I did church service, he would be the chair. He would actually welcome me on the floor, like Derek Westcott Club, and he did church servicing for. And the crazy part of it was another lady friend of mine who also was part of the church, and she was a chairperson of our church, and she died 2 weeks before he passed away. Like we lost two church people, and both friends of. I trained the woman who I knew. I trained her to be a reader many years ago, to be one of the finest readers, psychic readers ever. She's a very talented woman, and she died suddenly of a heart attack in her bed, and I didn't even know she passed away. It was like sudden, and she was younger than me. So, and then Rick, he was 72, 74, around there, but still too young. We should never lose lose people in our lives. Not that young. That's still too young. Way too young. So yeah. So anyways, I got very emotional. I had a hard time working through it, because you get to know somebody so close, like a little brother, or a real close friend, and it affected me, because him and we would talk in the backyard all the time. When I'm outside in the back working my shop, and he's in the gardening and yelling back and forth to each other and stuff, and he's putting in some more new plants, and we're talking about my stuff, my plants and his plants. It's like you're just friendly, and you watch over each other, and that's what we did. So we're always good friends. Yeah. Anyways, but I know he'll be fine in the spirit world. I tell people this: when you lose somebody in your life, no matter if it's a friend or a relative or just someone they're not in pain, they're not suffering, they're happy where they are. Maybe it was his destination, maybe it was his time to leave the world this way, maybe he had experienced it this way. Here's a crazy part, and I will say this funny, because sometimes Rick has a bit of a temper. If something doesn't work for him, he'll yell FUC, right, out loud, but he'll say it to not in front of everybody else, but his car is parked next to my house, and I have a air conditioner on my wall, so you can hear it, everything he says, through my air conditioner if I'm in the living room, because the air conditioner is just above me. And I heard, like, where's times when Rick, things don't work for Rick, and he'll go F, damn it, and I know Rick is upset, because he's frustrated because whatever happened, accident, whatever, gets upset. So time's gone by since he passed away, and I had a client yesterday come to my place. Now his house is all barricaded off; it's all fenced off. Right? There's nobody can get in there. Nobody. I mean, even his kids have not been in there yet. And this is the afternoon, and I'm talking to my client, and I was talking to her about Rick, and I heard this slam, F. F. And I go, what the? No way. I heard Rick's voice come through the air conditioner. Nobody else's voice. I know Rick's voice well. His voice came through the air conditioner. Did you hear that? She goes, yeah, that's Rick. I'm not kidding you guys. His voice came through the air conditioner. But he was telling you, he was upset the fact that I think he was pretty pissed he was died. But he was letting us know that we talked about him and he appreciated it. But that's how I got Rick's attention, or I guess he got my attention because I know what he would say. I'm not kidding. It's funny. So, yes, I did. I did record it on the session. Yeah, I did record it. I'm going to listen to it. I got the session right here, guys, on the recorder, because I'm going to go listen to it and see where I got it, catch it, and I'm going to actually find it, play it. And if I find the right one, I'm going to share that with you guys. But I'm telling you guys, I'm not kidding you. When I heard it, and I was like, no way. He just, that was his voice. He just said F, he was like upset. And then I went outside and checked. There was nobody there. There's nobody there in that, because it's all fenced off. There's a tall 6.5 feet, 7 feet tall metal fence wrapped around the house, so nobody can get in. And the car is right there. So I knew very well there's nobody can climb over. Not that easy. So that's how I can hear things. And it wasn't, I said, "Did you hear that?" She goes, "Yeah." She says, "Your neighbor's upset?" No, Rick is dead. He passed away. No way. I said, "That's his voice." So they ever find out what the fire was from? Yeah, they believe, and I will use state believe, they think it's actually was a baseboard heater. A little heater was plugged in. And for some reason, I think it was too close to something that was, that caused the fire. A short. It was a short, really, what it was. So they think it's what it is, what it was. And then people start creating rumors that he committed suicide. No, Rick wouldn't do that. Rick had plans. We were talking, like him and I were talking about Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. And he was all looking forward to doing Turkey Day in the whole 9 yards. And never, like, why would he hurt himself? He had too much things to do in life. He was looking forward to, looking forward to do something else. So, yeah, people will create rumors in the park and they'll make up shit. And I just look like, guys, if you don't know, don't make up shit. Get away, stop that. Like, let it go. You don't even know him. So, yeah, anyways, let's talk about something else. Snoop Dogg. Like I said before, Snoop Dogg actually introduced, like you guys already know that Tupac Shakur had passed away, or supposed to be passed away, right? Well, through the years, when I found out that a lot of people that were supposed to have died weren't put in protective, mostly were put in protective custody. And so Tupac Shakur actually has been living in Cuba for many, many years. So he escaped to Cuba and he became somebody else, took on somebody else's name. Now he's come forward because right now, who's in jail, right? Diddy's in jail. Diddy actually was a bad boy. And I guess whatever Diddy wanted, couldn't get, he was also responsible for the attempted ASS to Tupac. Tupac knew something about Diddy, and Diddy was going to have him, sort of like disappear. So I guess Tupac had to disappear for a while until Diddy got caught. Now Diddy is now behind bars. They can't touch him. Right? Most of the people that wanted him out are gone. So now Tupac can come forward. And so what happened was Snoop Dogg had to keep secrets for many, many years. Snoop Dogg actually went to Cuba and they had the very first concert just about 2 weeks ago. The very first concert in Cuba. And it says the return of Tupac Shakur. Not by the name, the guy's name. And even Tupac now is on TikTok everywhere. He says, "I'm TikTok. I'm showing him proof. Here's the way my teeth look. Here's how I look. Here's my music." His voice is the same. Same height, same weight, same scars, same everything all over. You name it, it's him. And there's people out there going, no, Tupac's dead. Tupac's dead. No. You folks, remember too, people can hide for a reason. Okay. Guess who's coming? Guess who's back now too? Coming forward. MJ. He's coming. He's coming, guys. MJ. They already showed you some videos. He's come back. MJ's walking forward. He's no longer hiding. He's come forward. because I wrote down here this 2 weeks ago. I wrote this note. I wrote this 2 weeks ago. I said Snoop Dogg was in Cuba and the return of Tupac after 25 years. And I said Michael Jackson's next. And guess what? Today, they announced MJ just walked into the room and people going, oh, that's an actor. No, he's a double. He's not the real Mike. Yes, it is. You'll see his face and you wait till you hear him. You'll see him. He actually had to go into hiding. That's all because Michael had shit on Sony. Sony took 80% of every singer's rights. They would say royalties from them. 80%. They were making more money off the singers than they were, and the singers actually making money from themselves. And you're going to ask me, how do I know, Derek? Sony were the ones that got involved, and the guy who actually owned Sony tried to order a hit on MJ, and MJ knew that. And Michael even said, you haven't seen nothing yet. And he even showed him and he even said in his own video that he was going to take Sony down and go after them. So now Sony is in trouble. Okay. Sony is in big trouble because the guy who owns Sony is in big trouble. And actually, I put the guy's name who owns Sony, who's a mob boss, folks. Okay. Where did he show up in public? He showed up. Where was that? Was it L.A.? Not in it wasn't in Cuba. I think he showed up in Los Angeles. You'll see it. I'll bring the video up. I just got the video just about maybe an hour or so ago. I got pretty excited. I thought, is this an old one or is this a new one? So I did reshare it on my TikTok. So I'll bring it up and I'll prop it on the Facebook. But here's what I'll do, guys. Not Facebook, but on YouTube. Not YouTube, sorry, on Telegram. YouTube won't allow Michael to be on there. Facebook won't allow Michael to be on there. They're blocking all that right now. But Telegram, they're no problem. Or if you want to go to Rumble. Now, if you guys don't have an app, download the app on Rumble. Download an app on Telegram. I have 2 pages in there. Rumble actually is my name, which is the Derek White Sky Cloud, or you can find me, which is called the Shadow Chasing Show. You'll see all my archives in there. And I have a page on Telegram. Telegram actually is a True North Strong and Free page. You'll see there, join up as a member in the group. You'll see lots of things that are going on. Okay. And it's going to help you guys a lot. Give you more informed than you think. When you see TV, watch television and radio and listen to radio, you're not getting all the news. You're just getting the bullshit. Okay. You want the true news? I share that with you guys. Have these others gone into hiding too? Whitney, Prince, George, Michael, and Princess Diane. Yes. And they're all alive, by the way. Okay. Prince is still alive. Michael's still alive. Whitney and her daughter are still alive. Princess Diane, very much alive. In fact, she's the mother. She's the mother of Barron Trump. Okay. If you didn't know that, she is the mother of Barron Trump. And she's also got a daughter too. The real true daughter. So, and lots to the whole story. Anyways, guys, I gotta let you go, folks. I really hope you guys do well. Take good care of each other. Before I forget, I'm gonna share this with you guys before you leave. Don't leave yet. Hang on. There's this I want to share with you first. I got 2 things more to share before the end of the night, and that is this. Full blood moon. Okay, it's very important. We have a full blood moon, and it's breaking updated cycles that are no part of your destiny, bringing deep energy cleansing, shifting your life 8 times. This summer supermoon is burning away anything that tried to stand in your way. This fierce moon is in Aries, is also called the blood moon. Nothing can stop you from achieving your destiny. You're heading your years ahead in life and where you're meant to be with the right person. The blood moons bring fierce shifts, destined manifestations, and total change. Okay, so it's something that you guys can trust. to follow that, because you're on the 17th of October 17th. That's the 17 day. That's the, and there, by the way, the 17 is a Q, and that is the Christ consciousness, the Christ number. That's the Jesus Christ actually number, name and number of the Q and 17. Also, this coming, as of this Saturday, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at this place here, Coastal Wave Markets Halloween Psychic Fair and Metaphysical Market, Saturday, October the 19th, 1 to 5, Albion Community Center in Maple Ridge. The people that do these signs, they think that if you're living in BC, they just MR or whatever, abbreviate places, but people tend to forget. People can actually come in from out of town. It's in Maple Ridge, and it's also the added feature is actually the haunted history of BC. So it'll be artisans, metaphysical, and Halloween, and vendors, and many gifted readers. And I'm actually one of the readers there. So, well, I think it's $5 or $10 in the door, but it's worth your while going in. I mean, it's gonna be packed full. Go for it, guys. Come on down, have a seat for yourself. It's one of the next of the biggest events ever, and I'm part of this as one of the readers. But I'm also going to have some of my stuff on my table setting up to sell too. I got a few things I'm bringing with me, so I'm not going to be just reading as well. So some of my new crafts I've made, wait till you see them. Holy, are they ever cool? You love them. Made some dragon fans, and then they look like dragon eyes, and did some you'll see it. If you guys get a chance, if you don't get to see it, come on down. It's worth your while. A lot of things you can see and do. If you're in the region, if you're not, just keep on, let things happen, keep on going, and love to see you guys there. But all in all, that's where I'm at. So I want to appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for being part of it, and please like and share this whole program, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. But please like and share this, and again, download the app on Telegram and get on and create your own page there. You get to see and do things more freely yourself than you would ever before, than anything else. Because I tell people this, if you ever get a chance, like if you haven't ever been to try Telegram, Telegram is bigger and better than Facebook, way bigger and better. Create your own group page. You can actually have a chat room in there. You can talk to people join in, you invite them in. You can actually it has a telephone hookup into it too as well. You can call people. You can play videos on it. You can watch movies on it. You can do anything you want, and you can record your own shows through it. There's so many cool things that we can take advantage of. So anyways, like I said, Telegram is better and bigger, better than you think. Some people have some chat rooms that are in there that there's like members of 3, 4, 5, 6,000 people, group members. And people love coming in the chat room, and they get to talk and back and forth with each other. I'm not talking about just tap, tap, tap. I'm talking about like there's a microphone there. You can turn on the microphone. You can actually talk to people. So is Telegram Canadian? It's from Russia. But but they welcome Canadian people. So it's international across the world. It's worth your while. In fact, Facebook does not like Telegram. YouTube does not like Telegram, because Telegram is opened to anything we get to say and do. They don't have the rules and regulations like that Telegram and Facebook has, or any social network has. Even TikTok has limitations, not allowing people to say certain things, and they cut down their whatever rooms. But anytime I do my own Telegram page, I've never been striked, ever. And we got things we could say whatever we want, and but no one gets away with bullshit. But they're watching. But the thing is, it's actually one of the most nicest protected pages. I'll tell you why. Doesn't own just by Russia. Our military are the ones that are taking care of it, and they're also part of it. Not Canadian. I'm talking about special group people. They're also part of it. So that's why they let us do whatever we want to do. Now, how do we add yourselves to Telegram? You download the app, the Telegram app. Okay, you find the name Telegram, you download the app. You can just go to telegram.com, and download the app and create your own page and just follow step by step. It's so simple to get in there. And then later on, if you want to find me in there, I'm Derek White Sky Cloud. And or if you want to find my title, mine's in capital letters. My group page is called True North Strong and Free. Just ask to be a friend and I connect you in. And next thing you know, I can forward you all these other rooms. You can join in and join groups. The more you get to do it, the better you are. You get to learn stuff. And it's fun. Really, really a lot of fun. 24/7 information all day, every day. I mean, some people lose sleep over it because they enjoy it so much. But it's a place it's a fun place to go to. Yeah, you have lots of fun. I have mine running all the time. I'll give you guys about an idea what Telegram looks like before we quit here. Let me open this up. Okay, this is my page right here. You can see right here on the top. Let me open this around. This is called the True North Strong and Free page. This is my page in itself. I got 433 members that I welcome in. And so this number here, that's the number I can, or the identity number I can click on. And that's where you can say if you want to join the room. So you click on that and that's how you get in. So my picture, this is what it looks like. Blurry. Okay. But these are all the members that joined. Okay. There's all kinds of people in there. And yeah, so if you want to see, and there's a list of people in here in these rooms. So say, like, for example, I'll give you guys a bit of an example here. So click on top of here, and there's a place called Boots on the Ground. I mentioned to you before, Boots on the Ground. That's that right there. This is Boots on the Ground. This is their page. Now you see in the top right corner, let me move this back a bit. And you'll see in the top right corner, this blue button on the top right corner there, on the top right, it says join. Once you click on that, people will be in the chat. They'll start talking in the chat room, and you'll see the chat room. They're talking away. So if I came in the room, okay, they're talking right now. Once you click on this, that means you could be on the microphone and speak. Okay. So
Sean, what did you start to say a while ago?
So that's what this is how I run. This is how I'm able to go into their chat room. It's called Boots on the Ground. You can join their group, and they have all kinds of information that people share. They place on there everything from learning how to cook to you name it what. There's all kinds of cool things, fun things, and great informative information. And on the lower right corner, you can see how many people will drop all kinds of information to help you find out what's going on. So this is all in here. I mean, you're always enlightened about learning stuff from people. This is the cool part. And this young lady right here, if you see her, knowing her, okay, this actually is her last name is Owens, I believe. But anyways, that is Martin Luther King's granddaughter. Okay, so she herself is big time in there involved. So like I said before, there's all things you guys can see. Like I said, back to my room, I just go there and find mine. I'm back in my own room, and then people can like what I'm doing. This is my stuff, and then I have right now. There's people placed in about 187 items in there. I click on that. I start from the bottom up, and I start looking at some of the events that have been happening all across Canada. You know, I was running the United States. Here's Edmonton City Council approves 50-minute cities right now. They're talking about this right now as of October the 2nd. Okay. 50-minute cities. That means that you won't be able to leave these districts. They're called districts that you have to get permits to go to. They're trying to make it where they can control where you go. Do you really want this to happen? You don't want this to happen. Surrey is doing the same thing here in Surrey, British Columbia. They want to do the same thing, put it in 50-minute cities. And it's already on their website. So Ireland is rising right now. Why Ireland won't be silenced? Because they're trying to create they want to do a lockdown on people again and get back to lockdown again. Why? And it's getting, like I said, people are saying no. Okay. So again, you get your musical things. People like to share music, what they're fond of, and they have different, see, and look at this, Justin Trudeau. I miss you, Gord. And Ridgely, really? I thought he passed away. He's supposed to die of cancer. How is it he's still here? Is that Mandela effect? I wonder. Think about it. Okay. So now you guys know that's how it all works out. It's worth your while. Download the app and join in and see what happens. Do you verify everything that gets posted? I do. I control the room. If I like something, if I agree if it's good, then I'll let it go. But if it's something I don't want, I can get rid of it. I'm in control of the room. It's my room. If people want to promote kind of like trying to get rich now, I'll show you how. I get rid of it because it's not important to me. What's important to me is information to help people. Anything out there that you may think is called disinformation, get rid of it. You don't have to keep it. You know, it's not no one else's issue but your own. You're the ones in control of your own room. Okay. So guys, be good to each other, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Everyone,
where we go one, we go all.
Died.
May God be with you all.
Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world we're all alike. So why is there war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one tide, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright. Isn't it time when the stop time? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, in peace, in peace. Alright, make peace, peace together. Peace.